What are the most cowardly things a person can do? Let another person take the blame and punishment for something they did. When I was about 7, someone cut the whiskers off the cat. Being the youngest, my parents blamed it on me. I pleaded my innocence, but got the strap in the rest of the day in solitary confinement. My British rail. My older sister's conscience intervened, and she admitted to the evil deed. She got praised for her honesty, no punishment, and I received no apology. My dysfunctional family. My mother admitted to having hit me hard enough as a child to make me bleed because she thought I had spilled nail polish on the floor. About a year later my sister confessed to the crime. Good times, am I right? Edit. If anyone is curious, my mom was a traumatized person dealing with it in all the wrong ways. She did a lot of damage, but she's a vastly different person now. No, we aren't thick as thieves, but I get along with her significantly better than I ever thought I would. She was wrong for what she did. And for the people trying to upset me by blaming a child for their own abuse, I'm glad you were able to exercise your bad person muscle during the pandemic. My dad punished me for telling a lie and enabling my younger brother to do drugs. I was 17 and had no idea it was happening, but he had told him that I bought him all of his stuff, which was obviously false, considering I had no clue, but he thought I was just playing dumb. So he threw my PS4 and monitor out the window onto the concrete and told me I would have to buy myself any new ones I would get, but if I were to get them before he said I could, he would throw those out the window as well. He broke around $850 worth of stuff because my little brother lied. When my mom found out, she bought me new items and told my dad if he broke them, he would be sued for destruction of property. They were divorced, and my mom loved to spite my dad. Other than the initial sadness of my system being destroyed, I got relatively no punishment. Still fucking hate my dad though. Edit. I didn't realize this was going to be my biggest comment ever. Thank you to the kind redditor who gave me silver. Your award means a lot to me. Thank you for all of your upvotes everywhere. You've more than doubled my karma today. I know they don't mean much, but I feel like I mattered enough to some of you that I earned your upvote. Thank you. Get this. When my sister and I were teenagers, she touched the thermostat in our parents' house, made it colder in the middle of the night, and my mom assumed it was me and beat me with her stupid alarm clock that has a thermometer on it, and my sister stayed quiet. When my mom dies, that stupid alarm clock is going in a blender. Edit. I would like to add that I have never once touched the thermostat in my parents' house. No idea why they thought I did it. I have thermostat PTSD and won't touch the one in my own house I pay for. I had a coworker recently who did this. Has no idea how to do his job, constantly screwed up, and constantly tried to hide those screw ups until somebody else got blamed for them, so he could weasel his way out of the situation. Worst instance was where the person who got blamed was being chastised, and he decided to scold said person himself. Best instance was when someone called him out and left him blabbering. I had a direct supervisor that was like this. I was hired to work for a project manager that I had known for years and had a great deal of respect for. It was my first job as a construction superintendent, and a nice step up in pay, benefits, and a bonus structure. When I started, another PM pulled me into his team, and it was an absolute nightmare. He was one of these people that took credit personally for any successes and distanced himself from any failures, pointing fingers and throwing anyone and everyone under the bus. It was a miserable position to be in. One year we had to get 3 more houses to settlement by December 31st to hit our quota for everyone to get a bonus. I had 3 that weren't scheduled to close until January, but the owners were willing to go to settlement if I could get them completed in time. It fell directly into me to cram these houses in, and the PM called me daily to remind me. I worked 7 days a week for about 6 weeks trying to get these things done. They settled right after Christmas, and the night of settlement the PM came out to the site with a 6-pack, and we walked the houses together. He was ecstatic. I had gotten everyone, including him, a nice bonus. He bragged about his leadership, which had nothing whatsoever to do with it, and how great the houses looked. Apparently his boss, the VP, came out and walked the houses and wasn't satisfied with the level of the drywall and paint, both of which had been rushed to try and get the houses settled. When he brought this up to my PM, dude straight up rolled me under the bus and told him that he had said the same thing and that he had told me not to rush the houses, just to get them to settlement and he would take care of it. Kept my bonus and straight up lied about ever having told me and the rest of the team about the bonuses and pushing to get the houses done. I confronted him in the office and he lied to my face and to the VP. I started my job search the next day. I worked for that company for exactly 2 years, just long enough in my industry so as not to appear as a job jumper. The most important thing I learned from the experience was that I would never work under someone like that again. I just watched a Forensic Files, a show that goes through true stories of crimes with interviews of the forensic experts that solved them, that features a brutally murdered mother. The father and the defense team knew the murder weapon was found in the house, so they tried to paint the son, his child, as the most likely murderer of his own mother. Imagine, your mother is brutally murdered, your father is accused, and your father decides to tell the jury that you did it. There was Dutch novelty song that became a huge hit in the 70s, The Den writ by Drs. P, which was about a family who were traveling to the Russian town of Omsk, but a group of wolves are chasing them, and the parents decide to throw their children one by one to them, so that they themselves are safe. In the end the protagonist even sacrifices his wife, but to no avail. In the end the pack of wolves has caught up with him, and he is eaten. The last line of the song, well, technically not the last line, as it ends with a coda which throws some general cliches about Russia and some other nonsense lyrics, but the last line of the story is Omsk is a nice city, but just a bit too far away. When a friend is being harassed or bullied in front of you, and you just stand there and say I don't want to get involved, even though later on you agree that your friend was completely the victim in the situation. Defend your friends please. Lie to let someone who can't or won't defend themselves take the fall for what you did. My pal's mom overdosed when a local pharmacist filled her obviously forged opioid prescriptions, as in, she printed fake prescriptions that other local pharmacists rejected and confiscated. When the drug dealer pharmacist got caught, he blamed his own 90-plus-year-old mom. To clarify, the drug dealer pharmacist and his mom both ran their family pharmacy at some point. He was the one who would accept fraudulent prescriptions at the back door. He went to court because they were audited and the prescriptions on file didn't line up with their profits. He claimed his mother mistakenly destroyed the missing records. His mom lost her pharmaceutical license. It's unclear if she even worked there anymore during the years he was audited for. He progressed with his political career. Ghosting the person they are dating as a way of breaking up with them. This goes for men, women, and everybody in between. If you don't like someone, or if you just don't see yourself continuing a relationship even after a single date, you can take 5 minutes to call them, or at least throw them a text. Ignoring them will make them feel 100 times worse than being upfront. My mother was so horrifically abusive, she doesn't even deserve to be casually referred to by that title. My father not only let it all happen, he told me, at 5 that it was my fault. I remember begging him to at least protect my little sister, a toddler, at the time. Whenever I saw her going after my sister, I'd deliberately do something naughty so that she would beat me instead. But I knew I couldn't protect her all the time. My father's response? That mummy would never hurt me unless I'd done something to deserve it and been naughty. He also told me that if she hurt my sister, that was my fault too. Because, as the big sister, he said I set the example, so if she got beaten, it was because she'd followed my naughty example. He said that every time she hid my sister, or otherwise made her cry, I should be ashamed and figure out what I'd done to make that happen. I was 5, and he did all that out of sheer cowardice. He was not only afraid of her, and of the inconvenience of having to actually acknowledge and address her extreme violence, but also of being confronted with the unavoidable reality that he was actively enabling the abuse and neglect my sister and I endured. He is the absolute lowest form of sniveling coward I've ever encountered, and cutting all contact with him was one of the best decisions I ever made for myself. Edit. Thank you so much, anonymous redditor who gave me a hugs award. Thanks for watching. In comments, write about similar facts and situations from your life. If you enjoy this video, watch other on my channel, and have a nice day.